As a wedding planner, client experience is everything. You know this. And you also know that the onboarding phase of the client journey is very important. You've likely spent some time developing your onboarding process. And if you've been doing some internet reading, you've discovered that you need to have a new client welcome packet to welcome your client into your business. What should be in this new client welcome packet? Well, that's the question that I am answering in this YouTube video. Hey there, friend. I'm Candice Coppola, your business BFF. I talk about all things starting, launching, growing, scaling, and being a wedding planner here on my YouTube channel. So if that is of any interest to you, be sure to subscribe so you can be notified of any videos that I upload next. And if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. Be sure to give this video a like if you found it helpful. Today, we're talking all about the onboarding process of bringing a new client into the fold of your business, and specifically what you should include in a new client welcome packet. Now, onboarding is such a critical part of the planning process. It's what happens once your client has signed their contract, made their initial deposit or retainer, and your very first steps really as their wedding planner, helping to guide them through the next phase of work you'll be doing together. And onboarding happens regardless of what level of service they purchase, whether they're a full service wedding client or they're just day of. Anything in between that, you should be thoughtfully onboarding all of your customers into your business. If you're curious about onboarding in general and you feel like you need an onboarding process, period, I'm going to invite you to go to my shop.candicecoppola.com. That little beeping noise, by the way, that is my walking pad, literally having a moment. That is my walking pad, so whatever, we're just going to roll with it. I don't know why it's suddenly going off. It's super annoying, but anyway. Back to my point, go to my shop.candicecoppola.com, and download the onboarding playbook. I will actually link it here in the description box below so that you can go and check that out. I basically walk you through exactly what should be in your onboarding process over a 30-day period. So you have a full wedding planning onboarding process. But today's video isn't about that. It's about what should be in your new client welcome packet, which is something you should send your clients upon booking you a few days after they've signed that contract, or really as soon as possible, to keep that excitement and that momentum going in the planning process. That is what we're dissecting today. Your new client welcome packet, it's not just a bundle of documents that you're throwing at your client. This is a strategic way for you to nurture them into the fold of your business. And when done well, it should be really the first true piece of paperwork that your new clients are so very excited to receive from you. And it will set the tone and the cadence for planning going forward. Now, ideally, you want your new client welcome packet to affirm their decision of making a purchase with you, of hiring you as their wedding planner, meaning they made the best decision ever when it came to choosing you to be the wedding planner for their special day. You want to nurture them with excitement. They've just made this incredible purchase. They're so excited to be working with you. And so we want to mirror that excitement back, and it just be a love fest of excitement and positivity. You also want to offer them some type of quick win in this welcome packet, a task they can go and focus their attention on and complete. I find that when we can give them a small checklist or a little to-do list or one thing to go and complete, like a questionnaire, it really helps to keep them focused on a task, and they feel really good about getting things started. They're not waiting for you to pull the trigger or press a button or do something. You're giving them a small task. It's a quick win. They feel accomplished. And you also want to lay out a very clear path forward in your client welcome packet. This also means setting some firm boundaries and expectations of what they can expect. Now, a new client welcome packet can be delivered in a variety of modalities. Please don't overcomplicate this for yourself. Do what feels really easy. You can create a Canva document, download it as a PDF, and send that to your clients. You can create a landing page on your website. You can create something in Honeybook that welcomes your client. Pick a technology or a modality and commit to it and build it inside of whatever that is. I have one rule though, and it should be easy for your clients to read and access, okay? So your new client welcome packet is going to affirm their decision to purchase. It's going to nurture their excitement, get them really excited. It's going to offer a quick win and lay out a clear path forward. This is why it's so important and a critical milestone or touch point inside of the onboarding process. It's also your chance to surprise and delight them, to do something that just defies their expectations, ignites their senses, makes them feel good. All right, so let's break down what should be inside this new client welcome packet. First, a very energetic, positive, and personalized welcome message. I like to think of this as the welcome letter. Kick things off with a bang. Your welcome letter should be friendly. It should be upbeat. It should be celebratory, thanking them for their business and letting them know what is inside this document. Set the tone and set the pace. In this welcome letter, you can also inject energy, excitement, and focus on what matters to this client, or maybe the one thing that kept coming up in the consultation that they wanted to work with you on right away. You also then want to introduce them to your team. If you're just starting out, you may be the team. So in that respect, reintroduce them to yourself. The whole point of introducing them to the team or reintroducing them to you is just to personalize the experience for them, let them know some familiar or friendly faces they may be interacting with throughout the planning process. If you do have team members, you'll want to introduce each one, let them know what that person's role is, and if they're going to be interacting with that person at all. I do suggest adding some contact information if relevant, and also some fun facts. Keep it lighthearted, keep it fun. This isn't, a LinkedIn bio or some kind of corporate resume. This is meant to be fun and lighthearted and to put a face to a name right from the start so that they can make a connection. Especially important if you have somebody on your team who might be emailing them on your behalf, or reaching out to vendors. They're not going to be like, who's this chick Candice in my inbox? Don't know her. Like, oh yeah, I remember her from my new client welcome packet. Very handy. So you want to include a meet the team. If you don't have a team and it's just you, introduce yourself and share just some fun facts about you and keep it moving. Next, you want to include important information and any frequently asked questions that you find most of your clients have at this stage, okay? I want you to hear me say this because I say this over and over and over again inside the Planner's Playbook, my educational community for wedding planners. And I say this to the women I mentor in my mastermind and to you, my lovely YouTube person. What do I call you? My YouTuber? That sounds so weird. You're my person on YouTube. Clarity is key. Communication is key. Most client dissatisfaction, most friction in the client relationship can be solved easily with good communication and clear information and boundaries, okay? So you want to outline in your new client welcome packet your communication style, how you'll be communicating with them, if you're using any planning software, if it's going to be email, Google Drive, your office hours, of course, days of the week you work, hours within those weeks, and any boundaries you have around communication, outreach, etc. Okay, this is the space to set very clear expectations about how you're going to be working together and make it very clear that these guidelines are in place to make sure that the communication between you and the planning process is as smooth as butter, baby, and enjoyable for everybody. It's to their benefit. Most clients will respect, and I say most, not all, but most clients will respect your boundaries, and they will respect your hours of operation and your communication style so long as you clearly communicate it to them. It's when you don't communicate or when they think that you're available all hours of the day because you're emailing them at all hours of the day where we have problems. Now, outside of key important information regarding communication, hours, etc., you definitely want to include an FAQ style section with specific questions that most people ask during this phase. What's our first step? How can we schedule a meeting? When will we start booking vendors? Do you have a little black book of vendors we should look at? All different questions that tend to come up right at this stage. Do yourself a favor, reduce redundancies, make this more efficient, and address these questions before they pop up. with very straightforward, clear answers in an FAQ section inside your client guide. This doesn't need to be every frequently asked question they could possibly have about wedding planning. It's just about where do we start, what's next, how do we do this one next thing. Trust me when I tell you, your new clients, they're going to appreciate not having to guess when your office hours are, how they can book and schedule a meeting, how far in advance they need to do that, if they can text you. They're going to be so happy to know this upfront. Now, next, you want to include some more information about your planning process. Now, in the Planner's Playbook, I teach how to have a several-step planning process. Essentially, what you want to do is give them an overview of the client journey and let them know the different phases, touch points, and milestones that they will have with you as their wedding planner. This section should be customized based on the level of service they purchase from you. So for instance, for a full service client, really the first step you take together is outlining a budget and understanding financially what they have to spend. And then the next step, a month of coordination client, your first step would be outreach at the 14-week mark. All of these are actually covered in playbooks inside my shop, which I'll link to below if you're curious. Regardless, though, you need to introduce them to your signature planning process for that level of service. If you have not defined your signature planning process, my friend, now is the time. Now is the time for you to do this. The time is now. You need to have a signature planning process of how you guide clients through the different phases of planning in digestible steps. This doesn't need to be some 20-page long-winded dissertation. In fact, just a simple graphic showing the different touch points and when they begin will help your client put into context when things get done. One of the biggest complaints I hear from wedding planners is my client is jumping ahead. And they're jumping ahead because you haven't clearly defined your process and let them know that, hey, I know you're excited about design, but first we got to get your budget together, girl. We have to see how much coin you have to spend on this wedding. It's up to you, the planner, to guide your client, okay? This is showcasing how your method makes the magic happen. If you don't have a signature planning process, you can absolutely steal mine. There's a full service one inside my shop. There's also a month of coordination one inside my shop. Go and grab both, girl. You know you need it. You know you need it. After your signature planning process, which is going to give them a bird's eye view of what they can expect overall, I want you to introduce them to any software or tools you'll be using to communicate. So whether you keep it simple with Google Drive and emails and a client dashboard in Google Sheets, which is my preferred method, introduce them to your tools of the trade. You might be using something them with the platforms and softwares you'll be using together, okay? It's about getting them excited to use these tools, but also getting them to adopt these tools into their daily workflow of thinking about planning and to understand what these tools will be used for. So you want to introduce them, sometimes a Loom video, linking to a Loom video, doing a walkthrough of your planning software, or if some of your planning tools is a great idea. Don't be able to show them behind the scenes, a little bit of background, recognize that you know how to use it because, girlfriend, you're in there planning weddings. It's what you do. But your client might not know exactly how it's supposed to be used. So show them and onboard them into those processes. Next, make sure that you link to any important sites. These can be things like some of your go-to resources, vendors you want them to check out, appointment schedules, payment gateways, client hubs. Make this welcome document a place where they can go back to and find what they need and not have to text you or email you, hey, where's the link? It's in your new client welcome packet, girl, on page 6. That you want to include links and anything special like that right inside your new client welcome packet. The final portion of this is their immediate next steps. So what comes next after they've received this great packet, which is nurturing their purchase, affirming it, setting boundaries, communicating, getting the process going. What comes next? You need to outline the first 7 to 30 days of planning, and it needs to be a very clear and actionable plan that your client can look forward to. And this needs to be customized to your client and obviously their service level based on what they've accomplished so far and what they haven't. Really, all you need to say is our next steps together will be, and here's a time frame for that. This helps to maintain momentum. It keeps your client engaged and informed about what's happening next. It helps to build trust and excitement right from the beginning. And this is exactly how you stop those dreaded emails of what are we supposed to be doing now? What happens next? Always think about how you can end something with, and here's what happens next, including your new client welcome guide. Truly, their very next step should be filling out your onboarding questionnaire or your new client questionnaire, where you're going to ask a series of questions that help you get a better lay of the land. And this is where their quick win comes into place. This is something they get to check off the list. So your new client onboarding questionnaire should help you understand exactly what's been done. Maybe they give you their contracts. There's lots of things to include. I actually have a questionnaire template in my shop. You guessed, I have this all waiting for you. I basically have built your wedding planning business for you. You want them to fill that out. And then from there, you can really kickstart planning. But you always want to talk about next steps, and their next step should be to fill out your onboarding questionnaire. Now, you might be asking some questions like, how can I make my new client welcome packet stand out? I think you can personalize it by adding your brand and by adding touches that are visually appealing, work that you've done, or some really beautiful stock images that really help to illustrate the work that you'll do together. I have created a new client welcome packet. It's a Canva template. It's very affordable. It takes the guesswork out of what to include. It has all these steps plus some more options in there. You can go and download that from my shop. I'll put a link in the description box below. A digital one is always better than a physical one. I think a physical one is a bit of waste of time, waste of pen and paper. A digital welcome packet is very effective. It can be updated instantly with the most relevant information. You can make changes. You can constantly improve and adjust your process, and the client gets it instantly. You may be asking too, how often should I update my new client welcome packet? I think when you're just starting out in business, you might find that you need to update it often. Like almost every new client, there's an addition based on what you're learning through the onboarding process. I would say that you should update it as often as you need to. After you've been in business a while, you'll likely find that you've got it down to a science, and maybe you just update it year over year with minor changes. So that pretty much sums up what should be inside. Let's recap really quickly, write this down so that you don't miss one step inside your new client welcome packet. You need to have an energetic welcome, personalize this to the couple, and address them by name. I want you to include a section where they can meet your team. Even if your team is just you, keep this lighthearted and fun. Include important information and any FAQs that tend to pop up during this phase. Set clear boundaries around communication. Include your signature planning process. Show a bird's eye view of the different phases they can expect based on the level of service that they have invested in. Introduce them to any softwares or tools they'll be using with you. Onboard them to those softwares and tools. Include important links to things like payment gateways or client portals, and give them their immediate next steps of what they can expect from you, including timeframes, what happens next, and a link to your new client questionnaire. All right, friend, that's what you should have in your new client welcome packet. Thanks so much for watching this video. If you liked it, do me a fave, give it a thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed to my channel. Thanks for being here. I've linked a video that I think you'll enjoy to watch next, and I'll see you in the next video.